Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj from the bestemailmarketer.com, and today we have Antonio. Hey, how to pronounce your second name again? Can you tell me?
Buchanan, like the
Antonio
whiskey.
Bu- Buchanan. Thank you so much for joining us, brother.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, brother. So, for our listeners who don't know you, can you tell them who you are and what do you do?
Sure. Again, I'm Antonio Buchanan. I'm the CEO of HelixPlus Entertainment. HelixPlus is a new science-based multimedia streaming platform that will be launched in the spring of 2026. The streaming platform will have not only videos, but games, audiobooks, live events, and a community all in one.
That sounds good.
Yeah, we're
So,
excited about it.
yeah, we all do. Okay, so what inspired you to start Helix Plus?
Yeah, we were working, when I say we, my team and I were working prior to this, I had an ad agency and we were working with one of the oldest science museum in the United States, doing some branding work for them. So new logo, new design, interior, exterior, things like that. And before we started, we did some consumer research worldwide. And what we found out was that although the goal of the museum is to get people to come into the museum, we found out that there's a significant amount of people who are science-based fans who may never walk into the museum. They want the information 365, 24/7. But you're competing with their time, particularly with Gen Z and millennials. You're competing for their time against other things, movies, the zoo parties, things like that. And so when we sized the market, we realized it was in a significant market out there as well. And it wasn't something really for the museum to do. They wanted people to walk in. So we actually said to them, we think there's an opportunity for you to have a streaming platform. At that point, COVID hit, so nothing happened. And we sat on it for a while. And then we said to ourselves, this is a big deal. This is a big idea. This is keeping science at the forefront of everyone's minds and how important that is. And so we went to the museum and said, we'd like to take the idea and we'd launch it. And so they were fine with that. And so since then, we've been building out Helix Plus.
That's great. So, how does Helix Plus combine entertainment and science to make learning interactive?
Yeah, that's a good question. One of the things that a lot of people know, that really good question that but most don't know, is that, when you want people to learn something, a lot of times you don't want to do it in this academic way, but you want to do it in an entertaining way. And so when you look at the content on Helix Plus, it's going to be, for instance, the videos will be very cinematic. It's like storytelling as opposed to just giving facts. We're going to tell a story depending on what it is. And we have several science categories that we'll be talking to, but we think it's important that we know whether you're 8 or 80. The reality is that we need to entertain you and keep your attention first, and then the storyline will sink in and facts will sink in and things like that for you as well. So we're doing that through the video, we're doing that through the podcasts. Even from a gaming perspective, we're building original games that will be fun and entertaining and people coming back. But at the
Mhm.
same time, the assignments that you have to do in the game will be things that you will be learning at the same time. So that's
Wow.
going to be critical for us.
That gaming thing is really interesting. Like people will enjoy playing game and also learn on the process. And the thing we learn, they can actually like real thing, important thing.
Exactly. And it's going to have the ability, again, like millennials and Gen Z, what they are doing already, the way they're behaving is that I can literally be watching one of the videos on Helix Plus online and at the same time have my game in the corner or vice versa. So very interactive in the way that they'll consume the data and the content.
Can you talk about the challenges you faced while building the world's first interactive science streaming platform?
There are a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's the first, excuse me, because it's the first, I think, from a technology perspective, it's a big deal. One of the things that we wanted to do was we wanted to build a user experience that is different than Netflix, different than Amazon, things like that. I'm sure you're accustomed to when you go on Netflix and Amazon, what I like to call it is the death scroll. So you go online and you start scrolling immediately and you're looking for things and you're quite not sure what you want to see, things like that. We have taken on an ambitious way of looking at it. The minute you get to Helix Plus, you'll be met by an avatar called an AI avatar. And Astra will say, Atul, what do you want to do today? What would you like to look at today? She's gonna have this conversation with you. And you're gonna say, Astra, I'm really into space today. I want to learn
Mm-hmm.
about comets today. And Astra will accumulate, your next screen will be an accumulation of what you just said, all the tiles for all the content across video and gaming and all the others that relate to, oh yeah, he said he wanted this, this, and this. Here it is. And then you can start to scroll. So what we're trying to do is to really simplify the interaction that you have. So it's easy, it's intuitive, things like that. And so that's hard to do that for
Mm-hmm.
different platforms. You can imagine, for video and podcast and gaming, there's a lot of technical challenges to do just one of them. And here we are accumulating it all into one place and then overlaying AI on top of it. Another challenge is too global content. It's really important to us that we go out of the box, that this is not US centric. This is not about the US, this is about the world. And so
Exactly.
the content that we're accumulating is from all over the world, from Japan, from the UK, from Asia, as well as from Latin America, as well as from the United States as well. So that accumulation of content across all of those categories is a lot of work, to say the least. So there's that's going on. There's a lot of making sure that this is probably the most important thing. Helix stands for truth in science. And so, when you go out now and you start looking for things about a certain topic in science, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of
Yeah.
people just throwing stuff on the web. They have to go to different places to get it. They're not sure if it's true or not. We have a science review board. So the first thing that happens is when content comes to us from a creator, we run it through an AI criteria model to make sure that it is accurate and that it's coming from the latest sources as well. We rate it from 1 to 5. 1 and 2 are it won't get on our platform. Once we load it up, and if it's not accurate, it will not get on the platform. 4 and 5, yes, it will. 4 might have a caveat about something like this is currently something, but it's changing. But if it's, let's say, a tool, it's in the middle, let's say it's 3, then it
Mm-hmm.
moves from AI review to an actual review board. So we have a review board with people who are scientists in different categories who will review it and then make a decision on whether or not it gets onto Helix Plus. For us, it's really, really important that this is based on truth and transparency, and that we're bringing the most accurate data as it relates to science in a place where no one has done this before. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now, if we just talk about AI, okay, when we use like Perplexity or ChatGPT, they don't give us accurate inform answer. Many times they are just wrong. They just give answer.
It's true. And so we're not taking that for granted. We're not looking at it and going, well, yeah, this is right. We're actually running it through a scientific accuracy review, because that's part of the frustration that people have, is that they're not sure that the data that they're getting when they're looking and searching on their own is correct. And we want to make sure that it's correct. And we want to give, let's say I'm going to use an example. Let's say we're doing a
Mhm.
story on um, a new miracle drug, and it's doing well, right? But you've seen it when people advertise a drug, they talk about it's going to help you, it's going to be great, and in the background they're saying, but side effects may be, and they run all of these things about, things that are negative. We're going to present all of it, not just the positive. So there's going to be, what's the positive about this particular piece on science, and then what are some of the negatives that someone has to consider, and then they can take that information and make decisions on their own about how they feel about a particular thing. But they know that they've been given all the facts.
So, what kind of feedback you have received from early users or beta testers of Helios Plus?
Yeah. Yeah, we've gotten phenomenal feedback, more than I ever could have imagined. I think there are a few things at play here. One is that people have been longing for this for a long time anyway. And I think that, again, there's the misinformation, but there's also fragmentation in the media. So, now they have to go to YouTube and they have to go to a lot of different places to get this information, right? Google, and they have to figure it out. We're not asking them to figure it out. We'll figure it out for them and we'll give them the right information that they need. I think the other thing why this has gone extremely well and we've gotten great feedback and positive feedback is the fact that it's a multimedia scenario. Again, right now, I have to go to Netflix or Amazon. From a video perspective, those are the dominant ones, Disney, things like that. From a podcast perspective, I can go anywhere, all
Mhm.
over the place for that. And for gaming, you have Twitch, you have a lot of other platforms as well that do that. None of them really aggregate this by science. And certainly they don't bring it all together. And so that's been the exciting thing is people have gone, I want that. Yeah. When we show it to them, they're like, this is incredible. We're surprised it's not happened sooner,
Mhm.
but they're really exciting. So from a consumer perspective, we've gotten great feedback and we have this wait list of thousands of people already who are ready to go. From an investor perspective, they're like, okay, this is something different and new that we
Mhm.
haven't seen before. And then from the press, that's another thing. The press has been very kind and nominated us, even though we haven't launched yet, nominated us for like most innovative, one of the most innovative new ideas, things like that.
That's great. So, for our listeners who want to go on your waiting list or want to try your product, I mean, your service, where can they go?
Yeah, they can go to myhelixplus.com. So it's Helix and then plus.com. And there they can give, it doesn't cost them anything. They put their name into the system so that when it launches, they'll be one of the first. The first 1,000 will be part of what we call the Founders Club. So Helix will be priced at the basic will be $6.99 a month, and then the
Mhm.
premium will be $9.99 a month. But if you're one of the first 1,000, it's going to be $5.99 for life. So you get the discount as well and you're part of the Founders Club. And there's some other really cool things that you get from that. The first to see new content when it comes out before everybody else. You get to vote on some content if you like it or not to see if we should even put it up. As also, we're trying to build a community. This is more than just subscribers. They're members. They're part of a community who are passionate about science. Science is about enhancing the world. Science is about saving the world. There's a lot here when it comes to science. It's not a thing that you don't do or touch every single day that's not related to some part of science. And so we want to make sure that we treat this more as a community, a membership, so that people feel engaged with the brand.
Okay. So, is there anything else that you would like to share?
I think that people deserve companies to come at them in the way that they behave on a day to day basis and to solve problems for them on a day to day basis. And that's the way we're coming at it. This is literally, I've worked for many years owning an advertising agency and worked on some significant brands IBM, American Express, Gatorade, uh, start launching Star Trek, all of these things, right? But when I wake up in the morning here with Helix Plus, I know that I'm working on something that is changing the world. Literally, it's changing the world. The more information that people need, I don't know that the next young scientist isn't watching Helix Plus. I don't know that somebody that's dealing with an illness finds out some information about a certain disease or a certain solution to a disease on Helix Plus. And so it's really important to myself and the team that we know that the goal is we're not doing this to make a ton of money, kind of are, but at the same time, we are also doing it because we know that we're changing lives every single day, and that's important to us.
Yeah, here's the thing. When you change a lot of life, it's normal. We're gonna make a lot of money.
Right, right, exactly.
Yeah. By the way, I have one question related to your agency time. Okay. So,
Huh?
When you're running an agency, what do you have to say about being a perfectionist?
What do I have to say about being what?
Being a perfectionist.
I think that when you're running the agency, it's an interesting thing. There are so many pieces to the equation, right? So for us, we're a branding agency, so it's everything from consumer insight to what's the right message at the right time. How do you get that right message out at the right time, particularly with new technology that's out there? When it relates to personalization, it's really key now. You can't have just one message that's out there and you think that everybody it's meaningful to everybody. So whether it's from an email marketing perspective or it's from a social media perspective or something like that, it's really key to make sure that you have your messages down in a way that it is meaningful, effective, and efficient. And at the same time, we have this challenge now or this argument that's going on is, do you do brand awareness or do you do performance marketing? And the answer should be both. The answer should be everything relates to ROI. Everything relates to how you're going to get that message out there. So it's not a one or the other. We should be thinking as marketers as both. And so at the agency, that's the way we looked at it. We didn't start creating any type of content until we understood the consumer psyche and how that cut across a lot of different segments and how that related to the message that we were going to bring out. And we're using that now. It's interesting. It's a great education that we've had over the last 20 years that we're now using for Helix. We have a pretty progressive social media strategy that we have, but because we've done this for all these years, we spend a lot of time getting the right message at the right time. I had a conversation with our marketing manager 2 days ago and said to them, what I care about at this point, because we haven't launched yet, what I care about at this point is learnings. So test everything. Test the visuals that you have. Test the message that you're coming up with. Test the call to action that you have. Because after that, we can then take that, and when launch happens, we'll have an abundance of data that we can use to make the right decisions to go out to the marketplace.
Okay, that was helpful. Okay, Antonio, thank you so much for spending some time with us. It was really
Thank
great
you.
chatting with you.
All right. Thanks, Atul.